We begin tonight under a weather impact alert as a powerful storm unleashes heavy downpours across Southern California, triggering flooding, road closures, and water rescues. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Steffi Roche. A flash flood watch is now in effect, with some areas getting more rain in 24 hours than they usually see all November. And this storm is far from being over. Tonight we have team coverage. Meteorologist Sean Stiles tracking what's ahead, Esmeralda Perez on the potentially dangerous roads, and we start with Alex Lai in the hardest hit areas. She joins us live from the Carlsbad Golf Center driving range, one of the areas soaked by today's heavy rain. Alex, what are you seeing out there?
Well, good evening, Steffi. As you can see, it is dry right now. A short break from being drenched all afternoon, and obviously very heavy rain today. As you can see, this driving range completely flooded. You can see yardage markers peeking out from the water, but this hasn't drained at all. This is definitely going to be flooded for the next several hours, possibly days. And it's just one example of how hard the rain was today in North County. Pouring down turned slick roads into splash zones, and in some areas, full-on flooding. Cars struggled to get through flooded Cocoa Palms Drive, water covering the street, reaching up to my ankles in the shallowest spots. A stream rushed down Jefferson Street, knocking over trash cans, submerging tires of parked cars, and pooling across driveways. Meanwhile, cars sprayed the road and sidewalk as they passed through the pool of water from Carlsbad Boulevard onto South Coast Highway. Flooding also led CHP to close the State Route 78 eastbound at El Camino Real on-ramp. The pounding rain coated sidewalks and parking lots, keeping a steady stream to storm drains on many streets. And as you can see, it was a very wet day in Carlsbad in Oceanside. If you are hitting the road or going outside tonight, make sure to be safe.
Thanks, Alex. Now to meteorologist Sean Stiles tracking this weekend's storm. And Sean, it looks like we might be getting a little bit of a break, but don't put the umbrellas away just yet.
Yeah, definitely don't do that. And it looks like, as we saw, Alex was out there, things were drying out for now, but there is more rain, heavy rain, that could potentially come in overnight. As you can see from this Doppler radar, we're looking at scattered showers now as the area of low pressure is lifting to the north of us. And as it does, the drier air is filtering in on the backside. There's still getting pounded in parts of Orange County and Los Angeles County. The National Weather Service is going to keep this flood watch in place through 10 p.m. tonight. I don't suspect we're going to see anything. We might be seeing a little bit of the runoff from the foothills coming towards the west. Here's a look at that area of low pressure, and you can see how widespread this is from central Baja California all the way up to Sacramento. We're seeing a very big area of low pressure, and you can see how Los Angeles and Santa Barbara County are really seeing the lion's share of it. Although we did see many locations in San Diego County that were inch plus. Carlsbad, where Alex was, Oceanside, 1.5 inches, Palomar Mountain, 1.5 inches, even in the inland microclimates, 1 inch almost in many spots. Now we're going to get this break tomorrow. We'll still see showery conditions, but then yet another storm starts to come in the forecast. So we're going to have another weather impact starting Monday into Tuesday, both for the coast and those inland microclimate locations. I'll have a more detailed look at the weather that's heading our way.
Thanks, Sean. Well, in Sorrento Valley tonight, rising water turned an intersection into a trap earlier this afternoon. CBS 8's Esmeralda Perez joins us live from the area now. Esmeralda, how's it looking out there?
Well, Steffi, we have been seeing cars drive around the barriers despite the road being closed, and the water is pretty much gone now. But just a couple hours ago, it was a totally different sight here. Let me show you kind of what's left here. You can see this puddle on the shoulder is essentially what's left behind what we saw just earlier today. Now, it's dry and pretty chilly out at the moment, but earlier our county saw rain, and that made for wet roads. I do want to show you some video. This is cars driving through a flooded area near the Pachanga Arena in the Midway District. You can see just how much water built up there, creating dangerous conditions for drivers. Now, take a look at this footage from here in the Sorrento Valley area. A water rescue, one car being towed away, another still stuck in a massive puddle. It really just puts into perspective the kind of consequences this weather can bring. I spoke with San Diego police officer Anthony Carrasco, who stressed just how important it is to slow down and drive carefully when conditions are like this. He told me there are areas where they get called out for flooding, and in some of those spots, the city has pre-staged signs letting drivers know the road is closed. Now, it's important to pay attention to those signs because it's hard to tell just how fast the water is rising or moving. I'm told that during rain and storms, they see about a 50% increase in traffic-related incidents. Here's the advice he shared about what to do if you start to hydroplane.
What we don't want drivers to do is to slam on the brakes. We want them to slowly ease up on the accelerator and try to steer in a straight direction, and then slowly start applying your brakes to regain control of the vehicle. We don't want those wheels to lock up and for you to crash into something.
And very important information from Officer Anthony Carrasco, of course, coming up on CBS 8 News at 11. You'll hear much more on driving safely on the road with these type of weather conditions. Back to you, Steffi.